Hello everyone, thank you very much for the invitation. It's great to be here in London. I don't come here very often, so I see it's always raining. It was actually very interesting to hear from both Angela and Angeliki all these initiatives that you're organizing, and I couldn't agree more with you, Angeliki, on the very fact that in Greece we don't work together. I myself have co-founded an initiative called Brain Gain, aiming at the same thing that all our initiatives are aiming at, and it's actually the first time that we speak together at the same panel, which is a shame. But what is not a shame, and what makes me feel more optimistic, is that for the first time I feel, and perhaps some of you can agree with me, that we have a wind of change in Greece. And there's a new government that actually makes young people abroad feel more optimistic about coming back. I have a lot of friends who have already made their way back in Greece. Some of them are also here in this audience. And many more are thinking about coming back. And this makes us feel in the New Democracy government that we need to work much harder in creating a friendly environment for all of you and for all of these people, the 420,000 people, that even more, I think new studies show that 600,000 are now the brain drain generation. And I hope that we can do things so that most of them can come back and contribute to the Greek economy and contribute to Greece's future. So how I see this future working inside a government that at least gives in these initial months a sense of optimism to the generation, in my view. Well, first of all, let's not kid ourselves. It's the economic climate that changes the perception. And we were in Washington, D.C. last week with a couple of ministers from the Greek government. For the first time, I heard someone representing Greece asking investors to come and invest their money, not for patriotic reasons, not because Greece is nice and you need to like us or be friends with us, but because we create an environment that can actually help you make money. We created and we keep creating a pro-business, a business-friendly environment that can make any company that will come and invest their money to be profitable. And watching in your presentation, Angeliki, if I'm not mistaken, that one of the main reasons that would lead young Greeks come back to the country that they love so much is business opportunities. There was a report by the World Bank just 2 weeks ago. There's this index, it's called Doing Business. Okay, it comes out every year. For the first time, Greece is number 1 in Europe and number 11 in the world. Now, this might be hard to believe for some of us, even for me. And just having a report, of course, doesn't mean we completed our work. But there was a bill of 700 pages that was passed 2 weeks ago by the Minister of Development and Growth, Mr. Adonis Georgiadis, that creates a pro-business environment that actually makes it easy for someone to create a business in Greece in just 2 days. So this is one of the first changes that we worked on, and I think a clear message from all of us, both to young Greeks but also to foreign investors who want to come back to the country or invest in the country, is that Greece is back in business, and we ask all of you to come back not for patriotic reasons, but because there are real opportunities coming ahead. So that's my first point. Secondly, I'd like to comment just on a figure presented just before 50 billion or 50 million euros are created in GDP abroad by young Greeks belonging to the generation of brain drain. Is that correct? That was a figure from you, Angela. Yes. So this is correct if you see the figures of GDP created by young Greeks abroad. But would they create the same amount of value if they would stay in Greece? Absolutely not. So for us, it's very important for everyone who comes back in the country, not just make it easy through relocation services, as mentioned before, but it's very important for us if someone comes and works in a foreign business that now comes in Greece and invests, to feel the value of their own work and to feel that their personal value is recognized. As you have seen in the presentation, meritocracy and values are the #1 reason for people leaving the country, and I believe they will be the #1 reason for coming back. We have done our own research with Brain Gain, our non-partisan initiative. About half of the Greeks being interviewed said that they would come back with a 50% wage cut. They would accept a 50% wage cut, which is huge if you think about it. But the quality of life in Greece, perhaps family values, other values are important. #1, in my opinion, is meritocracy. And for all of you who follow Greek news, perhaps this is not the perfect week to speak about meritocracy in Greece, but we are committed. And many people in the Nea Δημοκρατία government are committed to work very hard to re-establish this trust of young Greeks who left the country about the new face of the government and the country as a whole when it comes to the private sector, the public sector, the media, politics, justice, everything. So in my opinion, and I think we can discuss this in our conversation, in my opinion, the best way to change the mentality of our country. We all had conversations about the bad mentality of the Neo-Elinas. Okay, the best way to change this mentality is by young Greeks who left the country and change their own personal mentality to come back and take some key roles in politics, in the public sector, in the private sector, in banks, in media, in all the key sectors that shape who we are as a society. So government policies are important. We can talk forever about specific things that the government can do and must do to bring back the brain drain generation. We work very hard right now with Brain Gain on a platform that will be called Find a Job in Greece. So we will connect, we will do a marketplace, we will connect Greek businesses or foreign businesses based in Greece who want to hire Greeks with international experience, and all of you and people abroad, people in the United States, in Australia, and Europe, who want to come back and want to find a decent job. So this will be presented in the end of January. We do it with a website called workenter.gr. It's the largest website to find a job in Greece. And we also work together with Mr. Daskalakis, professor in MIT, another organization, on a very ambitious project. What is this project? It's called, he calls it a Global Center for Artificial Intelligence. And I think we have an opportunity in Greece with people like Kωνσταντίνος Daskalakis to be more ambitious than just aiming at the average of the EU statistics, as we always do. Let's be more ambitious and try to create a global first, a global center for artificial intelligence that can be a reference for every scientist and every business person who is interested in that sector, with the leadership of people like Daskalakis and the support of the government and the support of the private sector. Let's try to be champions in something. So this is the mentality that I want Greece to have, and I will, I think, close my presentation here with this positive note. Look forward to your questions and the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you.